Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. Let me start by asking you a question. Just answer it to yourself. How many of you have been thinking about becoming a mentor, Toastmasters, or maybe with your job or a business, but you've been sitting on the fence because you're afraid? Several years ago, when I first came to Toastmasters, I came because I wanted to learn how to speak professionally. I've been speaking the majority of my life to groups. I wanted to perfect it. Never did I think I could be a mentor, especially a savior of a mentor for a new protege. I didn't think I had any skills to impart to someone. Until last year, I thought, I'm ready to see what this mentor relationship is all about and stretch myself. I mentored a young lady at Randolph, an airman, for 6 months. Helped her with her roles, write some speeches, do some table topics, do some other roles for the club. Then when 6 months went by, she got TDY orders, temporary duty assignment for those of you who don't know that, and disappeared. We didn't hear anything, whether she'd stayed in Toastmasters. And at first I thought, was it something I did or didn't do that caused her to not want to renew with Toastmasters? This was still when we were doing live meetings. I thought to myself, well, maybe there's just not a club where she's at. 2 months later, my friend Candace had been hearing me talk about Toastmasters so much and what I was learning from it that she said, Laurie, I want to be a motivational speaker like you. Let me come to a Toastmasters meeting and see what it's all about. Oh, I was excited. A friend of mine wants to come to a meeting, and this was another club that John and I belonged to. She came, she was excited. The members were really welcoming to her. She said, yes, this is for me. And she signed up. They asked me to be her mentor. I thought, yes, I can mentor her. She's my friend. I thought I knew her well enough to be able to help her. She wanted to do the same path I wanted to do. We worked on some table topic speeches. She did some roles for the club. We started working on our icebreaker, and then COVID-19 hit. It was more than a month before we got onto this Zoom platform. By that time, she had a job where she was working into the evenings and couldn't come to a meeting. It was a couple more months when finally I had reached out to her, and she said, I can come to a meeting. I don't know how to use Zoom. I said, come to my house. She doesn't live too far from me, and I'll help you. This was where I learned that Candace had quite an issue with technology. She couldn't remember how to get into Pathways. Didn't like Pathways. She actually paid the extra money to get hard copies of her path. You can do that. We had to get her back into Easy Speak. I had to show her how to get into Zoom. And we started working on her icebreaker speech. She didn't like all the emails she was getting from the club as a way to communicate. And I said, Candace, if you want to get the best out of this membership, you're going to need to learn how to work with Pathways. I showed her, we watched the tutorial videos. I spent 5 hours with her that day getting her set up. A month later, she gave her icebreaker speech. She did a fantastic job. It was a great message. Loved it. I was looking forward to doing some more speeches with her. And then she got another job working nights, and then she said, Laurie, this Toastmaster thing is just not what I thought it was. I don't want to renew. I said, okay, if you're not getting what you wanted or thought you were going to get, then it's probably best you don't renew. And I'm still waiting for her to give me back the feedback form the protege fills out for the mentor, telling them what they could do better. Maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't. there's 3 things I want to leave with you tonight that I learned most importantly. And the first one is that you do have a skill that you can share with a new Toastmaster. Someone coming in who's never spoken before, you have that experience, they don't, and you can share it, so don't be afraid. The second thing is patience is an ongoing journey, because my patience was tried so much with working with her. I had to ask myself, have I become the middle-aged, grumpy, crotchety lady that can't get over herself long enough to help somebody who's got a different learning style? Because as communicators, we have to understand people who are different than us in order to connect with our audience. I had to do a lot of self-reflection on me as a mentor and how I could better help her, or had I failed her. And that leads us to the third point, is that Toastmasters doesn't resonate with everybody, guys. Sometimes people will come in and 6 months, they find out, yeah, this isn't what I thought it was. And that's okay. Don't blame yourself as a mentor, and don't let it hold you back from your Toastmasters journey. I did for a while, and I was dealing with health issues, still am, but it was time to come back. Get back on the path and look at it for what it is with mentoring, and just get back in there. Just do it, Mr. Toastmaster.